what you're going to do for me to repay me for this generosity is going to be, you're going to get a life insurance policy. And if God forbid something happens to you, God forbid, right? Your policy is going to basically repay me for everything that I did for you, because you're so probably desperate to show your gratitude, right?
Essentially, yeah.
That is evil.
Yeah, very.
That is messed up.
Hi guys, this is May.
And I'm Cesar. This is Shoto. And we are the Farmers Insurance Cesar Pineda agency in Norwalk, Connecticut. Hope you're all having a great week so far for our episode number 2 of our unknown name series. We don't know what to call it yet. So actually, if you could put a comment below on what you think a good name for this is. Life and murder, life insurance murders, May's murders.
Yeah, not really sure where we're headed with the title, but in any case, we have another case.
In any case, we have another case. And so May has done the research again. As some of you might have seen in our previous episode, we found out about a notorious serial killer that used life insurance to lure her victims. Crazy story. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely make sure to watch part 1, 2, and 3, which are out right now. And today we're going to be learning about somebody new, which May has again graciously researched and prepared for us to be a nice, entertaining, and I say nice, but it's not really nice, an entertaining story.
It's not really entertaining either. It's more like...
It's entertaining. That's why people like this. That's why
true.
we're doing this. You guys like this stuff. But so she's going to tell us about a new person persons who did some unfathomable things that has to do with life insurance. So without further ado, take it for our second episode, May. Who are we talking about today?
So in this video, we're going to learn about a real life case where life insurance fraud was either attempted or it was successful, or eventually how these schemes were then discovered and how the people involved were then prosecuted. So from the outside looking in, Helen Golay and Olga Rutterschmidt are just 2 elderly women who volunteered and befriended homeless men in LA. So this happened in LA, California. So it actually happened a couple of decades apart. The first murder happened in 1996, I believe, 1998. Then the second was discovered in 2005.
Okay, got it. So around that time.
Yeah. So, and keep in mind, this didn't happen, in, like, again, it's long term. This is long term. They were eager to help anyone who's down and out, giving them groceries, food, putting them in an apartment, helping them until they were able to stand on their own. You see, Helen Golay, she was a successful real estate agent, and she owned a couple of apartments. So her and Olga had, properties here where they would eventually home these men once they get to know them, once they know how did they end up, being homeless, and they put the notion out there that they were going to help them back up their feet, and that's what they did. So this benevolence that they showed these homeless men is all a farce, though, as they also subsequently took out multiple life insurance policies on each of their victims. On the last victim who got murdered, Kenneth McDavid, who's 50 years old when he was murdered, they took out 28 life insurance policies on him.
28 life insurance policies on one guy.
On one homeless man.
And he didn't know about it.
He knew about it. See, the thing about it is this women would pose as a friend, right? Like, I'm here to help you. Again, this didn't happen overnight. This happened in years. These women befriended these men. It took them 2-3 years, to kind of like, as dark as it may sound, they would like butter them up or.
Right. And they were both real estate agents, or only one of them was a real
Only
estate
one
agent?
of them was a real estate agent. It was Helen. Olga was a divorcee, and they actually are old friends. So tragically, they then orchestrated their deaths by drugging them, then running them over with their cars.
Jesus Christ.
So that was their modus operandi. They then collected a little over $2.8 million in insurance payouts. And it actually took an insurance adjuster to notice the discrepancies in the claims that then also led for the detectives to investigate further so that they could look for a witness, which then all of this is kind of like strange happening. It was like this insurance adjuster saw this claim on his desk, and specifically for Kenneth McDavid, and he looked at it, and there were two claims that was on his desk, and he was like, what is happening? Because it wasn't for like a small amount. It was like for $500K.
Was he the first adjuster that really took a look?
Yeah.
Wow. And how many adjusters before that? How many agents before that sold them policies? They're all happy because they're selling policies left and right, but they never saw the dark side of like, okay, who is he to you now? Oh,
Yeah.
so he's some guy you know?
Yeah.
And then if you're from a small town or something like that, you
Yeah.
know where, I mean, it's LA, it's not a small town. But if you're familiar with the area, you could kind of tell that these people are not, family members, right?
Right. Because usually they would put them as, oh, this is Helen is my fiance, or Helen is my cousin, or Helen's my business partner. So the way they put it in the applications when you apply for life insurance, it wasn't very like, oh, like I'm a homeless man and this is my.
You know, it's funny. That's why they ask you
benefactor.
what you do for work now.
Yeah. They
That's
ask you
interesting.
what you do for work, who do you work for, and then this insurance adjuster, I believe his name was Ed. He was like looked into. Because it said that Kenneth McDavid was this financial entrepreneur person who made $60,000 a year with this company. So he looked up the company and he was like, well, that doesn't exist. So, and then he was just getting, the way he worded it was that he didn't want to make assumptions of this discrepancies, because it could have been just a mistake, and so he just wanted to delve in further. Who is this Helen who is a fiance, and this Olga who was supposedly the business partner? So he just wanted to know more about it. And so he went to the murder site, and he actually saw some discrepancies from what the detectives took photos of, and that's actually what led him to like, hey, something is off here. This wasn't an accident. This looks like there were like no
Premeditated.
Right, because when you run someone over, not like I know, but
I hope so.
but like when you hit something or you run someone or something over, this is what they said, is that there are tire marks that are left because you're trying to put your brakes on right before you actually hit that thing. And in this case, there were no tire marks, and there was just like this weird bike tire like just tossed over the body. And so to the insurance adjuster, he was like, that's strange. But because it wasn't his job to be a detective, it was more of his job of looking for the discrepancies and explaining what they were. So he alerted the investigators, but after he alerted them, he also wanted to go meet with Helen and Olga, because he's like, I just want to know more about your fiance or your business partner. And neither wanted to talk to him, obviously. They didn't want to talk to him, and he said that he thought that maybe even if he didn't talk to them, that they would pay out, which wasn't the case. So he actually he said that they both filed a complaint towards the Department of Insurance of California regarding his company, because they're taking too long to pay out. So in this case, his company was, which I think was like New York Life or something like that.
Oh wow.
So he actually flew from New York too.
We have a few people from New York Life. Shout out.
He actually was the one who flew up to California, and as an insurance adjuster, his whole thing was that if we're paying out, we need to know it's the truth. So when it came out that they filed a complaint to the Department of Insurance of California, it just goes to show, like, with all the other insurances that they took out on her, that means the other insurances paid out.
Damn. But all right, so hold on. Let's back up for a bit,
Yeah.
because we're like in the midst of how this whole thing unraveled. So these ladies are nice ladies, and they're befriending homeless people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they're at some point saying like, "Hey, I'm taking care of you. I'll let you live in this apartment that I own, or I'll give you a really great deal, or something like that." And at one point or another, one of the two of them or both of them says, "You know what? Let's turn this into a money making machine."
Mm-hmm.
Which is they must have been familiar with life insurance, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Probably have connections in the insurance industry, and so they're like, okay, well, let's just set this up where what you're going to do for me to repay me for this generosity is going to be you're going to get a life insurance policy, and if God forbid something happens to you, God forbid, right? Your policy is going to basically repay me for everything that I did for you because you're so probably desperate to show your gratitude, right?
Essentially, yeah.
That is evil.
Yeah,
That
very,
is messed
very.
up.